Is this the best hardtail for under $700? Is it awesome? Or is it total crap? Man, I really hope it's not total crap. That would be really awkward. So this bike is on sale right now for $700. And at that price, there's a good chance it's not gonna be that great. However, I couldn't be more wrong. The Poseidon Norton checks a lot of boxes that are a must-have when buying a new bike today. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking this bike down and giving you my honest thoughts about why this bike is great for beginners to experienced riders alike. Not everything is roses and sunshine though. There are a few things that could be a problem. Quick disclaimer, Poseidon did send me this bike for review and to make some content with. However, no money exchanged hands and they did not see this video before it went live. The first and most important thing about this bike is the fact that it was built with longevity in mind. The bike features all the modern standards that you can expect to find on the higher end bikes. The head tube is tapered, which means that you won't have any problem finding a new fancy fork to go on this bike. Most bikes in this price category still come with a straight steer tube, which means finding a new and improved fork could be a nightmare. The frame and stock fork uses the standard boost spacing. That means up front you have a 15 by 110 millimeter axle and in the rear you have a 12 by 148. This is pretty standard for nicer bikes, and with the only exception being Super Boost, found on a handful of brands bikes that want to be different. Last, as far as modern standards go on this bike, you have geometry that's actually modern. With a slack 65-degree head tube angle, this bike isn't going to be scared to be pointed downhill like some other XC-focused hardtails. Paired with a nice and steep seat tube angle of 75 degrees, pedaling this bike is a breeze. On the frame, you have the option to run internal or external cable routing, and there's also an internal routing for a dropper post, but more on the whole dropper post thing here in just a little bit, because that really deserves its own section. And while we're talking about the frame, let's look at this paint job. Poseidon must dedicate a good portion of their budget to painting these frames. They always look so damn good. Now, one of the major cons that I actually have about this bike is kind of twofold. The bottom bracket height on this bike is quite low, and I found myself pedal striking significantly more than I have on my other bikes. And this is only exacerbated by 175 millimeter cranks. Paired together with that low bottom bracket, and I was hitting rocks left and right. Now, there is a positive to having a lower bottom bracket though. It does make going downhill pretty nice. Ideally, I would swap these crank arms out for something shorter in the range of like 165 or 170 millimeters. The SR Suntour coil fork provides 130 millimeters of travel. Well, maybe. The problem with these forks is that they're not really adjustable to people of different weights. And at 195 pounds here myself, I don't think I was actually even going through the travel that much. Maybe on some larger hits, I might have been able to go through all of its travel, but as you can see here in the footage, it does move around a lot, but it doesn't seem like I'm using a lot of it. The other real drawback to these forks is the weight. This particular fork weighed in at 7.4 pounds without the through axle. That is crazy heavy. I have since upgraded the fork to a proper air fork, but you're gonna have to get subscribed and wait for the upgrade series that's coming on this bike. Thank you to Jensen USA for helping me actually get that together. The new fork that I put on there was about 4.3 pounds. And so as you can imagine, that's a substantial difference, and it really changed the feel and the handling of this bike. Now, don't get me wrong, the included fork isn't bad, but it should be upgraded down the line. The Microshift Advent X drivetrain is a favorite among the budget crowd, and I can see why. The drivetrain works great, although it isn't perfect. The 10-speed cassette is a 11-48, which in all honesty is not very far from like a SRAM Eagle or a Shimano equivalent. Pairing that with a 32-tooth narrow wide chainring, you can climb up most things as you would on the 12-speed variants. Only on the really steep climbs I found the limitation of this setup, but that could also have something to do with the fact that the stock weight of this bike is about 33 to 34 pounds. The stock Kenda Slant 6 tires actually surprised me. I initially felt like they were going to be lacking in grip, but the time that I had them on, I never once actually found the limit of their grip. The biggest downfall of these tires, however, is the fact that they are not tubeless compatible. The good news though is that the stock wheel set is. So if you wanted to slap on a set of your favorite tubeless tires, you're only spending money for tires rather than a whole new wheel set for the bike. And speaking of the wheel set, it's not the lightest, but it does seem to be pretty durable, and I was able to smash through rock gardens like I was on a full suspension, and they never complained. Now, I fully understand why this bike doesn't come stock with a dropper post, but it should absolutely be your first upgrade besides some tubeless tires. Riding without a dropper just makes everything less fun. You know, you can head over to Jensen USA and check out their selection. You can pick up a discounted dropper for like $100 and $150, or even a P&W loan dropper for about $200. The stock JuneTech brakes are something that I've actually never used before. They are a cable actuated hydraulic disc brake. Basically, it's part mechanical and it's part hydraulic. The braking power on these are better than your run-of-the-mill mechanical disc brakes. However, they are still a bit of a weak point on this bike, and installing some proper, inexpensive hydraulic disc brakes will do wonders for your enjoyment of this bike. So I've actually put a lot of time on this bike, and in its stock form, it's a great entry to the world of mountain biking, especially at this price point. So for the more experienced riders, the upgradability of this frame means you can upgrade this bike to your heart's content. Get subscribed and turn on those notifications so you don't miss season 2 of my budget upgrade series. I'll actually be transforming this bike into something awesome. You won't want to miss it. And in the meantime, you can check out this video right here where I upgraded a GT Laguna Pro from sad to rad. Kenda slant stick tires actually surprised me. Yeah, fucking A. The Kenda slant stick tire, fuck, I need something to drink.